Browsing through the ancient pages of the Bible, we find an incredible character who lived for 969 years. Methuselah holds the record as the longest living human mentioned in the scriptures. Imagine all he would have seen, experienced, and learned in those years. But his story goes beyond mere numbers, revealing mysteries many may overlook. His life connects divine genealogies and events that shaped humanity's trajectory. Methuselah's unique position in the family tree of Genesis links him to both divine and human realms. Born into a lineage of extraordinary longevity and divine encounters, his story intertwines with both worlds. This period in time saw people living for hundreds of years when humanity still felt closely connected to its origins. After Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve had other sons and daughters, leading to the birth of early civilization. Methuselah's father, Enoch, was distinct from others in his time. Enoch walked with God, unlike many who strayed. He was a prophet who, incredibly, never experienced death. After fathering Methuselah at age 65, Enoch lived 300 more years, walking with God until God took him. Genesis 5:21 through 24. This righteous lineage continued with Methuselah, who became the grandfather of Noah. Methuselah's life spanned almost a millennium, and he lived in a world descending into darkness. His father, Enoch, warned the world of a coming event, as recorded by Jude in the New Testament. Enoch foretold the Lord's coming judgment against ungodliness. Jude 1:14-15. Methuselah's name in Hebrew was a prophecy. When he dies, it will come, pointing to the flood. Remarkably, he died in the year of the flood. Methuselah's life spanned almost a millennium, and he lived in a world descending into darkness. His father, Enoch, warned the world of a coming event, as recorded by Jude in the New Testament. Enoch foretold the Lord's coming judgment against ungodliness. Jude 1:14-15. Methuselah's name in Hebrew was a prophecy. When he dies, it will come, pointing to the flood. Remarkably, he died in the year of the flood. Methuselah's extended life illustrates God's patience, giving people as much time as possible to repent. His long life is a testament to God's rich mercy in the face of humanity's sin. This divine patience mirrors God's ultimate sacrifice for humanity through Christ, a mercy beyond human capacity to extend. Yet, despite warnings, Methuselah's generation did not heed his father's words. During Noah's era, which was also Methuselah's, people mocked warnings of impending judgment. This skepticism persists today, as Peter warned in 2 Peter 3:3-5. Just as people scoffed at Noah's preparations for the flood, many now doubt the return of Jesus. They ignore that God, who once destroyed the earth by water, has reserved it for fire on the day of judgment. Methuselah's incredibly long life witnessed dramatic shifts in humanity's moral direction. As Genesis 6:5 notes, the wickedness of humanity was great in the earth. People turned away from God, sinking into evil. God, grieved by this, decided to start anew with Noah, whom he found righteous. Today, we see parallels to Methuselah's era, with scoffers growing in number as people lose their sense of divine truth. Methuselah's life reminds us of God's mercy and patience, granting us time to turn back to him. As the Bible warns, God's patience will eventually give way to justice. In a dark time filled with wickedness, there was a man named Noah, the grandson of Methuselah and the son of Lamech. While humanity was engulfed in corruption and violence, Noah stood out as a beacon of justice and righteousness. His life was an example of integrity and faith in a world that had forgotten what it meant to be just. God, seeing the evil that filled the earth, decided to reveal to him a great plan. A flood that would purge the earth of all wickedness, allowing a new beginning to arise from the waters. In response to the divine call, Noah began the monumental task of building an ark, a vast boat that would become a refuge. God, in his infinite goodness, had provided an escape. "You will build an ark of cypress wood. You shall make rooms in it and cover it inside and out with pitch," he instructed. "I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark. You, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark." Genesis 6:18. Filled with faith, Noah worked tirelessly, defying the mockery of his contemporaries. While Noah and his family toiled on the construction of the ark, the rest of the world ignored God's warnings. Society continued with its daily activities, steeped in sin and disobedience. Noah spoke to them about the impending storm, but his words fell on deaf ears. During this period, Methuselah, known for his longevity, also reached the end of his days, symbolizing the closure of an era marked by disobedience before the waters of the flood reclaimed the land. The early chapters of Genesis paint a bleak picture of humanity in Noah's days. The earth was full of violence, selfishness, and moral corruption. People surrendered to their desires, seeking to satisfy their cravings without regard for the consequences to others. It was a time when wickedness was the norm and justice was a foreign concept, leaving Noah as a solitary defender of righteousness amid an ocean of iniquity. In the midst of this atmosphere of evil, the Nephilim emerged, mysterious beings that arose from the union of the sons of God and the daughters of men. These individuals were described as great and mighty, considered heroes of old. However, their presence only amplified the corruption and chaos on the earth, becoming a symbol of the growing despair in the pre-flood world. Despite the wickedness reigning in the world, God had not lost hope. Observing the human heart, he found Noah, a man who found grace in his eyes. Genesis 6:8. This ray of hope was significant, for through Noah, God planned to preserve life on earth. Methuselah, witnessing the wickedness and the work of his grandson, saw how God was preparing to execute his judgment, but also to show his mercy. The story of Noah and Methuselah serves as a warning about the times we live in. Just as in Noah's days, humanity can become too absorbed in its worldly pleasures to heed divine warnings. People were eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage up to the day Noah entered the ark, warns us in Luke 17:26-27. This account reminds us that the time of grace is limited and that we must live consciously of the decisions we make each day. The life of Noah and Methuselah confronts us with the need to make choices between good and evil. Each of us faces daily the choice to follow God's voice or to be swept away by the current of iniquity surrounding us. The story of Noah invites us to be brave, to be lights in the darkness, and to resist the temptation to take the easier path, which is often the path of disobedience. The longevity of Methuselah, who lived 969 years, is a testament to God's patience and mercy. His life serves not only as a reminder that God is patient with humanity, but also symbolizes hope. Methuselah witnessed the final days of his world, and his legacy endures as a call to reflection on our own lives and choices. His existence reminds us that even amid wickedness, there is always room for redemption. The life of Methuselah also leads us to reflect on the value of time. It is not about the number of years we live, but how we use those days. The brevity of life, even for the longest lived, reminds us that each moment is precious and should be lived with purpose. Each day is an opportunity to do good and leave a positive impact on the world. Finally, the story of Methuselah and Noah invites us to a call to action. How are we using the time given to us? Like Noah, may we find grace in the eyes of God and live with purpose, being lights in a dark world. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated with more inspiring stories and messages.